I want to congratulate you guys on Cannabis Buyers Club. It's a thorough and endearing examination of one man's passion that ignited America, and I love it.
Thank you so much.
Oh, you guys are so welcome. Take us from the very beginning, though. What got you interested to make Cannabis Buyers Club? Let's begin with you, Mr. Kip.
Yeah, so way back in 1997, I moved up there. I was super young at the time, and we, long story short, we opened the very first medical cannabis club that was post 215 where it got legalized. And we had to get the permission of Dennis Peron, who already had a club that the story's about, fully illegal. And we had to get his permission to start it and get his permission and his granting. And once I did that, I learned about his entire story, how cannabis was really truly legalized through the AIDS crisis and the gay rights movement through one badass, very powerful man, and just had to tell the story. So I've been trying to tell this for 30 years now.
Wow. Mr. Chris, what were some of the edicts you guys followed? I mean, some of the do's and don'ts in making Cannabis Buyers Club.
Do's and don'ts. Good question. I think, for us, it was in dealing with the amount of tragedy and a lot of people that we interviewed. But there's a certain degree of empathy that you have to come at the project with, and you can't press. You can't, if people don't want to talk, like, it was often difficult to get people to share their stories. So it took a lot of time, right? You have to be willing to spend the time. And at one point I was spending about a month in the Castro for over a year. And a lot of that is just becoming close enough with people that they trust you in order to tell the story.
Wow. Now, at the heart of the series is the fantastic Dennis Peron, right? What was your biggest discovery about him initially, Mr. Kip?
Biggest discovery, I knew a lot about him already, but his biggest discovery is just how impactful he was for the gay rights movement back in the 80s and the 90s, especially through the AIDS crisis, when there's only a few heroes speaking up and doing things, and he was at the forefront of that, and most people just don't really hear about him, and just how bold and daring and brave he was to go right up against the government and the FBI, and I mean, you name it, the Supreme Court, I mean, you name it, and he was just a very, very powerful American.
So you did talk to him in 2018 prior to his death, right? Is that what happened?
Yes, we interviewed him about 2 or 3 months before he passed away. He really wanted to tell his story. I feel he died in peace knowing that.
Wow. Now, Chris, you briefly mentioned about this, but take us through the production process. How long did it take you guys to finish the series?
Well, we started out to make like a 90-minute documentary film, and we figured out that it was just too big and too broad and covered too many decades. So it ended up taking us almost 4 years of production. COVID slowed us down a little bit on the actual production front, but it allowed us to jump in on the editing front and really hunker down. And thanks to our editor, Carter, who was able to, like, during those first few months of COVID, when everyone was sequestered, he was able to kind of shape 4 episodes out of this. But yeah, it's a big, I mean, for us, it was like this when Kip, I was aware of what Kip was doing in the 90s because we've been friends for a long time. And, but then when he told me this story, I was like, it was so unknown and so big and so important, like in gay liberation. I was like, how did no one tell this story? So it was just like such this awesome opportunity for us. And yeah, I think we're both so passionate about getting this story out there because a lot of people, realize that cannabis is legal now in 37 states. 75% of Americans, I think, can buy some sort of cannabis legally. And no one knows that it was because of like such a struggle that happened in the 90s. And it was kind of and also going back to what Kip was saying, I did want to reinforce like how powerful of a character Dennis was, like from the 70s on. Like he financed Harvey Milk, and he was like a big part of gay liberation that people in San Francisco that people just haven't heard. So it was important for us to like share that with the world.
I love that. Yeah. And we have the LGBT community to think about it.
I know, exactly. People have no idea.
I love that. Also, you, by the way, real quick, Mr. Chris, all those footage, was it hard to get some of them? Tell us about them. I mean,
Yeah,
they're
really
fantastic.
hard.
I love seeing Harvey Milk again. You know?
Yeah. Well, we tried to use different stuff that you haven't seen of Harvey, but if you know, some of it's been out there, right? There's only so much, but the stuff where our film really shines, and I'm not sure how many episodes you've watched, but is like the VHS footage from the 90s. That stuff is like the only copies that exist. And yeah, we had to like really dig for that. It took months and months and months. And you're always finding someone and going on to the next lead and finding another person that, oh, I think this guy has some footage from here. And so I think the part of the charm of the film is all that like 90s footage, and you know, 90s is hot right now. So it's fun to like watch the VHS. I grew up in that age when with the big VHS cameras. And so that was like, and yes, it's like that is doing an archival doc like this, like I swear, like so much of the time is put into tracking down footage like that.
So I saw 2 episodes. So is it like a 4-episode series? Is that
exactly? And if you're really hype on it, you know, we'd love to share with you the other episodes as well.
Yeah, most people, the 3rd episode is most people's favorite episode. Actually, that's when it gets to be a cat and mouse game between the first openly gay cop in America trying to shut down the club, and that's where it gets really exciting.
Oh, darn it! That's the one thing I'm missing.
Yeah, well, we got to get that to you then.
All right. No,
we're only sharing 2 in the beginning, so.
Oh, now, Mr. Kip, how does it feel that your series is being showcased at the Tribeca Film Festival right now?
Oh, so grateful, so grateful. It's been a dream to go to Tribeca, something as pristine as Tribeca. It's really a dream. I've made some successful films on Netflix originals. This is the very first ever major film festival, and I, couldn't have picked better one. I'm really grateful for the team, and especially Chris of just making this happen, that we get to do this. So super grateful.
Oh, now, Chris, what's the end game for Cannabis Buyers Club? I mean, is it going to be a series for streaming service? Will you continue with the festival circuit? Will you visit us here at the Palm Springs International Film Fest, maybe?
I'm there. I love Palm Springs. You don't have to ask me twice on that one. We would love to go. Yeah, I mean, film festival circuit, we're looking at a couple more through the rest of the year. And then we've been in talks with a couple different streamers, and yeah, hopefully soon we will have all 4 episodes streaming.
Oh, now this is for both of you, okay? And let's begin with you, Mr. Kip. What do you hope for viewers to get after watching Cannabis Buyers Club?
Hope viewers to get a full spectrum picture of what was going on in the 90s, especially for someone who's younger, who didn't live through the AIDS crisis, and that didn't realize how many people passed away and how difficult it was for the nation, the LGBTQ movement, and then how cannabis truly is a medicine, and it's not just for recreational use, and how it really can help people. And then also a big story of to be an American, you hear about the American dream, the American hero, of someone who's just a true hero, standing up for something that they believe that helps so many people. And it's so an inspiring story that one person really can make a big difference.
Yeah, you agree, Mr. Chris?
Yeah, I think Kip said it perfect. I don't have much to add to that. I think one thing that Dennis did, though, was he motivated people to get out on the streets. When you see something, you protest, you go to City Hall. I mean, he was there constantly, and he would bring people there, and the politicians would just be like, look, we don't want to deal with these people. And that's how he was able to make like real change in society. So I think like a lot of things that are going on in today's society had also happened back then. And these people were able to persevere in the face of adversity and like make real existing change, during a pandemic. And it deals with so many of the issues that we're dealing with now, from social justice to LGBTQ rights. So yeah, that's what we like people to take away from this.
I totally agree. But now we have a moment of levity, okay? Mr. Chris, indica or sativa?
I'm a sativa guy.
Really? What about you, Kip?
Sativa, for sure.
You guys, I have so high energy that I need indica every
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
Maybe some indica at night, but it's good to know.
Well, big congrats on Cannabis Buyers Club. Again, an eye-opening account on how the LGBTQ community played a big part in legalizing marijuana. So it's fantastic.
Thank you so much, Manny. It was really nice to meet you, and look forward to meeting you in person.
Oh yeah, come visit us in Palm Springs, okay?
I'm there.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, good luck on everything, you guys, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.